What a time to be in Diddle Arena in Bowling Green, Kentucky, where the Hilltoppers are feeling pretty good. Seeing red, winners of 2 in a row after an 0-2 start. Looking for their 3rd consecutive win as Jackson State, the Tigers, make a rare appearance here, and they've lost their first 4 games. And alongside Dean Cooper, I'm Jonathan Mathis. And Dean, contrasting styles on offense. Jackson State much more deliberate. Western Kentucky, they can just flat fly.
Yeah, they can fly. 8th in the country in pace. They're going to get up and down. They're going to try to create deflections defensively. I mean, they get their, if you get in the half court against them, they're going to get their hands on the ball. So Jackson State, a big part of their game is they're going to have to keep from having live ball turnovers, pick 6 situations, because they want to play fast with or without turnovers. It's going to be a big part of the game.
Another big part of the game for Jackson State is Ramel Manziel. Can he lock down a pretty talented post player for Western Kentucky?
Yeah, controlling Babacar Faye in 2 aspects. Number 1, the direct post-ups. Really loves to get to his left hand, and then also keeping Babacar off of the glass. So got his hands full, going to play a big role in how this plays out.
With the Hilltoppers, a very heavily senior lineup, senior team, but Julius Thedford has been awfully impressive, the young freshman from Memphis.
Yeah. Simple word, wow. He's been really impressive. He can shoot it. He rebounds the ball above the rim with 2 hands in traffic. He really guards a really fun young player to watch.
They like to say some of the things he does in practice, they'll just shake their head, the older players, and go, oh, this kid doing it again, but he's fearless out there.
Yeah, I've been shaking my head. I've seen him play live twice. I'm shaking my head as well.
So Western Kentucky, they want to rely on their depth, and Julius Thedford is a big key to that. Jackson State trying to battle him inside. We'll see if Jackson State can get on the winning edge, or will Western Kentucky keep it on rolling. Has advantage of the size, at least on paper, looking at this matchup. Babacar Faye, they expect to stretch the floor some. As the tip is won by Jackson State. Here's their regular point guard, Marcus Washington Jr. has kind of evolved into that role, Dean.
Yeah, and here they come. This is kind of what I was talking about. Here's an old school NBA set. This is actually something that Mo would have ran when he was in Utah. Coach Sloan.
And Mo Williams, the head coach for Jackson State, one of 4 D1 coaches that won a championship in his time in the association. As Manziel puts it up in time but short. Jalen Jackson racing into the lane, is engulfed on his way up by Jamie Mitchell.
And we're going to see a lot of that right out of the gate. We mentioned Western Kentucky's going to push it. They did it right out of the gate off a miss all the way to the rim.
You're saying you were really impressed last game against Lipscomb, just the amount of not only the tempo but the deflections Western Kentucky got.
Yeah, it was incredible actually. If I had charted it, I would say that they got deflections when they got Lipscomb in the half court on probably 80% of their possessions. It's quite impressive.
This is the most common lineup for Jackson State. This is the 3rd time they've been used. And you're beginning to see some reliable starters for them as Mitchell misses the 3. Rebound taken down by McHenry. Attacking off the glass, is swatted away by Shannon Grant for Western Kentucky. Their starting lineup. This is, we asked Hank Plona if he has his lineup set, and he said no. And this is a version of that. Braxton Bayless, Jalen Jackson, first time they've started since the Campbellsville game. Tyrone Marshall's becoming a regular starter along with Faye and McHenry. 3-ball corner pocket, a little long by Jackson. Stay scoreless.
You had to get that off quick. And this is something Western did against Lipscomb. I thought to slow Lipscomb down, because Lipscomb likes to play pretty fast too, getting this little, they're not trying to steal the ball or get turnovers, they're just trying to make the other teams take time off the clock.
Marcus Watson Jr. takes it into the block, looking for help, still looking, he's in trouble. Marshall swats it away.
There they go with that activity level. I call it the activity index, and they are really good at it. Coach Plona and his staff, they coach that part of it up.
And they say Marshall just brings so much juice. When he is good, they are good. and he was good on that defensive possession. And even though his scoring wasn't great last time out against Lipscomb, he brought it defensively as that shot's missed. Bayless the rebound. Eyes up the floor, finds Marshall. Thought about the three, reloads it, and knocks it down.
Good shot fake and reposition. A lot of guys will dribble inside the three-point line, take the lesser return on investment shot, but he went ahead and took the three, and really good balance and getting his feet set on that reposition.
There's that pressure trying to generate some turnovers as McMillan misses. Bold rebound, Marshall. Cy wants it, ball kicked.
It's another thing Western will do. You'll see, Jonathan, they'll let multiple guys bring the ball up the floor. They get the rebound, just push it out and get it up there as fast as you can. They're not always looking for the point guard per se.
Here you see the soccer play by Manziel. By Mansell. Yes! High five!
Well, I'll tell you what, when you have bigs that can space the floor and shoot threes, that's a completely different dynamic for an offense, and it causes a lot of problems.
And that's an area that they thought his game was growing too, and he just proved it.
Yeah, he's out of the NBA Academy.
And it's stripped down low, bobbles around. Here comes Don McHenry with options. Just hit a three, goes inside. That shot was altered by the shorter Mitchell. Watson. Mitchell. Gotta be careful. Jackson's so good defensively. They're really proud of him. He'll be there in help coverage. Grant inside. That's wiped away.
See, they got a deflection or two on that possession. It just disrupts you.
Marshall, that shot was altered. Western Kentucky struggling inside, working in the paint.
It's going to be interesting to see if Jackson, who's going to input. There's two deflections there. Jackson State's going to have to be a little bit careful about falling into three deflections on one possession. It's probably going to turn in, it's going to turn into an open three.
Three deflections, a three-pointer. Tyrone Marshall, his second of the day. Western Kentucky up 9-0. McMillan trying to slow down the bleeding. Mansell asking for it in the corner. Mitchell being bumped and fouled. First foul of the game on Braxton Bayless.
Yeah, you see what we talked about in the opening right here. I mean, their hands, if you get anywhere, first of all, it doesn't matter where you're at on the floor. If they get guys around you, they're going to poke at the ball. And when you get anywhere near the paint, there's going to be multiple guys poking at the ball.
And almost a full line change. And here comes the guy we highlighted, Julius Thedford, along with Christian Lander and Enoch Colombe. Lander's been really feisty on defense, as you see.
Showing kind of a 1-3-1 matchup here.
Colombe pushes Mitchell all the way into the corner. That shot contested. Grant trying to get the rebound. Grant had a double-double last game for Jackson State, his first of the year, but couldn't secure it. Bayless in transition, couldn't get it off the glass. Mitchell, that also contested. Everything for Jackson State has been hard work. As we go to our first break, under 16, Western Kentucky up 9, zilch early here in Diddle. Once a point guard, always a point guard. Mo Williams leading Jackson State, third season. Dean, what was the scouting report on him during your NBA days?
Yeah, it's funny. His 14 years in the league, I never coached him, but I coached a whole lot of games against him. And he was just one of those guys every game. He always made the scouting report, and he just always talked about, hey, Mo's a solid player. He's not going to make me. Don't try to take the ball from him. You're not going to take the ball from him. He's not going to let you do that. He's going to be solid, you know. And then defensively, you knew, especially when it got late in the game, he was a feisty defender, and he was a fun guy to coach against. Unfortunately, I never got to coach him. Guys I know that coached him loved him.
Here's new players for Jackson State as well. There's Juan Reyna III trying to get on the scoreboard for the first time. It's Dylan Cannaville. And now Delisle Williams. Almost a whole new lineup. And a turnover. Similar result. Lob up ahead. Lander. Watch out, cheerleaders. Watch out, cheerleaders and hamstrings.
Just a bit outside. But there you go, another deflection, steals, the live ball turnovers. Western Kentucky is so impressive with them swarming to the ball. That one, it actually got tipped. Did it not? Maybe it didn't.
Kendrick Samuel bringing up, wearing the rare 55 nowadays. Down low, Conneville can't get it to go. There's a lid on that basket. Bedford.
In part due to Western Kentucky's activity level, obviously.
Off the mark by Columbe, battling inside, 5.
There's something I was talking about that, Grant or Menzel, whoever ends up on Babacar, you have to you average all 3 offensive rebounds a game. You have to find, even if you don't get the rebound, you got to keep him from getting it.
And he was a potential for growth this year. They're expecting a lot out of him. He was behind Rodney Howard a lot last year, but gets his moment now as Reyna misses the 3. Towering rebound inside, but is stripped away from Tamarion Hoover. Here's Jack Edelin. Lander trying to find his shot. Finds 5, and he misses for the second time today. Hoover can't sweep up that one. Lander gets the rebound.
They've gotten Jackson State clearly out of sorts a little bit with how they generally like to play, although I don't think getting a lot of possessions in the game is a bad thing for Jackson State.
How so?
Well, if you try to slow it's actually conventional wisdom that's inaccurate. Why am I going to try to slow up and play slow against a team in a half court that has a physical advantage on me? Try to get them spread out and attack them where they're not.
Columbe inside, couldn't get it to roll. Here's Reyna taking on 5. And the foul drawn on the man they affectionately call Baba.
Yeah, just to finish up that thought, Jonathan, if you feel like you're outmatched, I know conventional wisdom as well, shrink the game, do those things, but in reality is, why get to 5-on-5 in the half court? Now I got to play against all this friction where I might be, when you go across the roster, a little bit outmanned. I'm going to try to attack them early and not have to play against all that friction and take advantage of some luck in those situations.
Juan Reyna and Mo Williams and all Jackson State can breathe a sigh of relief. The first point scored. Reyna, this is his 4th college, which is just how things go nowadays.
Part of the portal era, my friend.
He was recruited by Mo Williams twice, first to Alabama A&M and then here.
Well, clearly says something about they have a good relationship, they trust one another.
Marshall. Jackson. Edelin more of a distributor. They like a good glue guy. Lander into the corner. Edelin fires a 3 and hits it.
Good extra pass out of the corner. Edelin gets what I call a feed set catch shot, catch and shoot.
Ooh, look at that pretty one for Hoover.
Western right back at him. Look at that. 3 seconds, they get a 3 off. Well, almost.
It was close, except for that out-of-bound line. It jumped.
That pesky out-of-bound line.
Sometimes it gets excited and it just creeps up a little bit. It's
But
like in old baseball at the Polo Grounds. They used to have a fence of people. That was the outfield fence. So then it would sometime move up, back.
Depending on who was at the plate.
Exactly. Inside, Conneville, the rebound. Looks outside, McMillan. No, Marshall, the rebound. Bedford. That should be a 2, and it is good.
Yeah, got his feet inside the 3, but again, another shot within the first 5 seconds of the clock. I mean, it's just, they are relentless.
That young man's playing with confidence, too. Mansell can't get it to go. Rebound taken down by Blaze Cada. Played at Nebraska most recently. One of the many players on Western Kentucky that began his collegiate journey at the junior college level. And Edelin, he's feeling it tonight.
Yeah, getting on the board early.
He's got 5 points.
He's a pesky defender.
Native of Louisville, Kentucky. Rebound taken away. Oh, that was an errant pass. A rare turnover tonight for Western Kentucky. Marshall back in defense. Down low, Mansell waited too long but fouled.
Yeah, it's interesting. You and I were talking before the game that for the pace at 76, 77 possessions a game, they only turn it over 12 times a game. It's pretty impressive.
Back for more off that foul. Free throws coming up for Jackson State as they try to work their way back in, down 14. Tell you what, the turnovers officially for Jackson State is 5, but the reason we're looking at the Western Kentucky huddle saying that number is, in actuality, that defense for the Hilltoppers has been much, much more active.
Yeah, it's not just the turnovers you come up with, it's the deflections. They had 3 deflections on the possession that ended in a 3, so it just disrupts everything that you're doing. And boy, do they get that. They've taken 90% of their shots out of the shots that they've taken, 16 already. I'm going to say probably 12 of them have been in the first 5 seconds of the clock. They put it on you.
Here's Romel Mansell. 76% at the free throw line. He had a game, his season high was 22 against High Point. He went to the free throw line 13 times. He was 10 of 13. You feel like he needs to have a performance a little bit like that tonight.
Yeah, I really like his activity level. In the games I've watched, he got a little bit off balance. These guys can get you hurried around that rim in the half court. You want to get it off quick because you know everybody's going to be slapping at it. And they're putting a little press on him, try to slow him up and take some time off the clock.
I think that TV timeout might have froze him up, which are bad. Bayless thought about attacking, finds Marshall. He's been quite capable tonight, but misses the 3. Keita, the rebound. Jackson wants it. Keita wants to go to work on the smaller defender, but it's poked away. Lively hands by McMillan.
Good hands there with those are the kind of steals when I coached Olajuwon. He always got those poke away steals in the post.
Man, what about a name drop?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm sorry. I actually didn't do that on purpose. It's just certain guys. It's funny when you coach in the NBA for a long time. They're like certain guys do certain things, and you sort of attribute that skill to them. And Dream was, I mean, obviously he did a lot of things great, but he was extremely good at.
Free throw on the way, and remember that game against, it was before you were coaching there, but against David Robinson after Robinson was going to win the MVP, and he just put him to work.
44 he put on him on the night when Dream said he took my trophy. And what people forget about that, Jonathan, is after the game, David Robinson said, I really felt like I was guarding him.
Robinson was a heck of a player too, but Olajuwon fired up. Quite dangerous. Bayless. Down low, Keita. The pass was a little bit too far behind, just hung up there. And then a whistle. And it's going Jackson State's way. The underside of the backboard.
Yeah. I'll tell you, heck of a catch, though, by the big fella. Corral that one in there. He's got some mitts on him.
By the way, on historical references, we're doing great. We got Polo Grounds and Akeem Olajuwon all in the first 20 minutes.
What else are we gonna get? And Mo Williams time in the NBA.
True. And a great shot there by Hoover.
I actually got a Coach Sloan reference in there.
Right on. We're on fire. McHenry not on fire. He's on the ground and is tied up, and the possession arrow stays with Western Kentucky. Now right now, Don McHenry, the native of Milwaukee, who was outstanding for Western Kentucky last year on that tournament run, he hasn't scored yet, but when he gets going, he's dangerous. Almost Marshall with the haymaker. McHenry can't make the 3.
Yeah, he's very capable because he can shoot it. He's really quick. He can get to the rim.
That was smooth by Reyna. There's about a 5-point swing right there. The almost spectacular alley-oop for Marshall. And then Reyna buries the 3, and Jackson State on a run. Only down 7.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I was talking about. It's not, people go to conventional wisdom, slow it down. But in reality, because they're playing fast, they get a chance to get right back in the game. Now, if you slow it down, if you're outmanned on certain nights, whether that's Jackson State or any team across the country in the situation, is you may keep the game close, but you actually reduce your opportunity to win the game by doing that. So now look how quick they turn the game around. They get a stop in another 3, and we got a different ball game here.
And you look at the record, you look at some of the numbers. I know your per game are your favorite numbers, but Jackson State's at the bottom of the country in many numbers, many of the categories, including opposing three-point or field goal percentage, were technically the worst. But Frank Polona said, you know what, they're a dangerous team, they're a good team, they played a really tough schedule, which they have. 5 misses, but it's fouled by Shannon Grant.
Yeah, and that's the thing early in the season, when you're a smaller school and you're in Jackson State coming from a HBCU league and you play on the road, you're playing bye games, it's really unfair to overjudge them at this point. But you can look out here and see when they get to the SWAC, they have talent. They're gonna be a problem in their league, and that's what it should all be about: is preparing for your peers.
They were predicted to be 4th in the SWAC. And that's now 6 points for Babacar 5.
I mean, I love their size inside with, Grant and Mansell and some guards that can get to the rim.
And Grant was really good last year. He was 18 double-doubles. He was preseason all-first team, all-SWAC. Coming in this year, which is good respect coming in as a transfer.
He reminds me of one of my favorite college players from about 2 or 3 years ago from La Tech named Kenny Lofton Jr.
I remember Kenny Lofton Jr.
Wow, was that guy fun to watch.
What about it? What about him and Kenny Lofton jumps out at you?
Well, they're similar in size, and they both, they love to play, and they talk, you can hear them talking now, even with our headsets on. And so I love it. They both got great hands.
That's the first made three-pointer of the season for Braxton Bayless. Cross-court pass, dangerous.
Surprise, another deflection.
Colombe. He put that in with the radio crew, and he almost ended up giving me a tackling.
Yeah, I thought one of us were going to have to catch him there. I was going to leave that up to you.
I was setting a screen. I was just going to take it. It was going to be a charge. Here's Reyna. Reyna, the co-lead on the team for Jackson State with 5 points. 3 men have done all the scoring for the Tigers. So far, at least. Watson. Into the corner, Mansell airballs the 3. McHenry stepped out of bounds.
Western Kentucky mixing up their defense a little bit. As active as they are in that man-to-man, they went back to that 1-3-1 zone, which is why the corner shot was open.
Mansell struggled from 3 so far this year. He's now 1 for 7. Here's Grant. Big boy inside, gets the right-hander.
You ask about Kenny Lofton, that's it. That's Kenny Lofton Jr. right there. There's so many similarities. Really good touch by the big fella. Get to his left shoulder, nice and patient.
If he can stay in his double-double form, what a great weapon inside. Lander makes the 3.
One-time Indiana player, he shot the ball well. The other day against Lipscomb, he had several in and outs.
Yeah, he had 23 against Campbellsville, and he's about to have 5, or not. Reyna. Like I said, he's got 3.
Good job of Jackson State staying in the play and not just giving up a layup.
Mansell, the lob inside. Grant, the right hand. Rinse and repeat.
Good recognition on the cross match there. Really good pass over the top, Manzelli, Grant. Good execution, big-to-big pass, and that's the old talk about those Spurs days with Robinson and Duncan.
There's Bayless taking the right-hander. He's got 5 points now, averages 3.3. Interesting with Bayless is they felt that he was just pressing a little bit, and he's just really excited to be playing at Western Kentucky. He was the leading scorer when he was at Niagara, but been pressing a bit early, and now he's in a groove.
Yeah, sometimes guys get tuned. Well, lots of guys are on new teams now, but you get there and you want to, you want to show your worth, and you're in a new environment.
Mansell, Colombe there. Bayless pops over, and shot clock violation. A three from Western Kentucky, and a shot clock violation was what Jackson State settled with. They've been rising though, but Western Kentucky's got the lead. Hilltoppers up 13. Where do you want to see Jackson State be at around halftime?
Yeah, I think this next, actually not the full 7 minutes, but the next 3 minutes before the next media timeout is really important. They got it down to 18-11, got it to 7. Now that Western's gone on a 10-6 or 4 run, push it out another. So they want to keep it within striking distance at halftime, so they feel like they can get that first 4-minute push in the second half. So these next 3 minutes before the media timeout actually are fairly crucial part of the game as far as Jackson State being able to feel like they can hang around and take it the full 40.
Well, they've struggled getting behind in first halves, but quite a few times so far this year they've been able to work it back, make it close. Now they want to be able to get over that hurdle. Here's Bayless looking to make the hurdle much bigger, and rims out.
Talk about old school. Coach Plona came out and ran a little flex action to get to that action. That's don't see that often anymore.
Almost worked. Mansell, one of the players we highlighted, hasn't really gotten going offensively just yet.
Western Kentucky just makes you, they deflect so many balls, you get timid.
Chance here for Mitchell, no. Back of the iron, front of the iron, popped out, rebound Bayless. Here's Colombe. Bedford. Enoch Colombe, no, just short.
That's one thing Coach Plona, you can tell his philosophy is you get your feet set, take a good shot. He doesn't care about the time on the shot clock. And
there's a great block there. That's Leroy Odiaye, who's newly into the game, native of Ireland, played with Frank Plona at an earlier stop at Indian Hills, and a great bucket there inside as a result.
Yeah, they can run a lot of big guys at you that are talented, they're long, active. Western Kentucky can, and then that block shot ends up being getting a transition basket out of it.
You see so many guys, they swat it to the 5th row, and that one kept it in bounds, made a play out of it.
Yeah, they want to hear at the end of the night, da 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 da. They want to get the Sports Center. I'm not going to mention, but I've coached a few of those guys. I tell you what, I'm not trying to name drop. I can only reference guys I've coached. And rest his soul, Dikembe Mutombo was one of the great guys at blocking shots and keeping the ball in play. The problem was when he caught it, if it was in play, he would shake his finger while we were trying to go down in transition.
He had a reputation to uphold as McMillan's on the scoreboard.
We lost him too early. What a great humanitarian, not just for the game of basketball, but just for people in general.
And Edlin misses the 3. Up the floor goes Jackson State in a hurry. This is a 3, and that's good, off balance by McMillan. He now has 5.
There's some good transition offense. Kick it ahead, run ahead, get to flip back, and get your feet down in the corner. That's pretty good basketball by Jackson State.
And the margin's just 10 at the moment. Lander among the trees is fouled. That's on Grant. It's his 2nd.
This is why I like Jackson State playing at their pace, because if you're going to try to walk it up and play at the pace they've been playing at, you got no chance of getting back in the game.
It was actually on Samuel. So no one in foul trouble yet for the Tigers. That floater, though, perfect by McHenry.
Yeah, he's you mentioned it, when he gets it going, he can hurt you in a lot of ways.
Mansell posts up Colombe, finds Watson. Yes, sir.
Starting to get their feet under them now and getting a little bit of rhythm.
They look like a different team out there.
Yeah, the last 5 minutes, they've been really a much different team.
Oh, nice dump off by Thedford to Edlin.
How about that? Edlin getting pretty active in the scoring column tonight.
Game high right now, 8 points. On the other end, Mansell. There's Grant. He had 2 buckets in a row. Quiet since. Watson on the attack. Rebound taken away by Odiayi. And a foul called. And that's on Grant. That's the second foul on Shannon Grant. And we look up. Jackson State is a little closer, only down 12. Well, the Tigers have been whittling away at it. They're now down a dozen.
Yeah, they finally settled into the game a little bit. They got used to all the activity level that Western Kentucky has. And we mentioned going in, I thought it was important that 3 minutes coming in this timeout. They got it to 9, and then Thedford made a really good pass to Edlin in the corner, pushed it back out to 12. So we'll see. I think if they get it to 8 by halftime, dig into this a little bit and feel like they got a chance in the second half, they'll be in good shape.
Is there a point threshold you'd like to see for the Toppers?
No, I think for them, the main thing is in these situations is you got to tell your team, just play the right way to finish the half.
That would have helped, but a missed 3 from the corner pocket by McHenry.
I tell you, that's 2 times in a row for a guy who can really score the ball. Thedford's gotten off the ball and thrown the corner pass when he sees the help.
Live ball turnover. Edlin had to run into the corner. McHenry floats it, got it.
Good job. This is a subtle thing. A lot of guys, where Edlin was in that situation, would try to dribble that ball, and it would get bing, bing, bing. It goes out of bounds. He grabs it with 2 hands and gets his teammate a little floater in the lane.
Down low. Can't get the bucket for McMillan. Now here's Marshall. Brings the juice for Western Kentucky. Thedford brings the youth, the juice, the size.
Babacar going to try to get to that.
Oh, look at block there by Conneville, but he gets it back. And there's the youth again. Got it!
Impressive block by Conneville, and then you get a bad break. You keep the ball in play, as you mentioned, and then it works against you. They end up with 3 instead of 2.
It definitely works better when you get the ball. Watson.
That was impressive. It's hard to block shots on your own guy as a big. Like a lot of guys get secondary help blocks, but blocking a shot on your own guy is difficult.
Here's Watson sized up by McHenry. Samuel on the attack. Edlin hangs on tight. Another shot clock violation. That's the second of the half on the Tigers.
I'm not sure if that was I'm actually not sure if that was a pass by Samuel to Mansell.
I think there was a technical.
Uh-oh. What?
I think there might have been technical on Samuel. Hold up now, everybody. Double technicals.
A technical foul has been assessed to the Tigers, number 13, Romel Mansell, and number 13 of the Hilltoppers, Julius Smith.
The classic double technical, and the 2 players we highlighted in the open, which is just, written in the stars.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I didn't really think there was that much going on, but if the officials think it was warranted, so be it.
I think they said a couple magic words at each other. By inside, blocked again, Conneville.
Conneville 2 blocks in the last 2 possessions.
He can get up there too, 6'5", listed. That's the biggest stop ever. And a bucket too.
Yeah, Hoover took quite a leap and then able to gather himself, get good balance.
That was way off by McHenry. That was pretty sweet. So he kicked it with his heel, and it did a perfect arc.
I don't know this for a fact, but I'm guessing that growing up in Senegal like he did, he probably has some soccer in his background. As I mentioned, part of the NBA coming through the NBA Academy, which has been so great for so many kids that have gotten them in situations where they can get an education, play college sports.
And you've seen a big surge in a lot of sports, basketball especially, from the continent of Africa. There's a 3-ball corner pocket.
Jackson State's really settled down here in the last 10 minutes and getting much better shots, not letting Western's pressure bother them nearly as much. And, you know, they're in good shape.
Here's Jackson, who's not a State. But he's been a part of 5 NCAA tournament teams and had a really, really good run a few years ago with Corpus Christi. Been a defensive specialist mostly this year, but he has got some offensive game to him and draws a foul on Samuel.
Yeah, when you have that kind of height advantage like Samuel, it's difficult to, I say this sounds a lot easier than what it is, but just stay down. But when a guy drives that hard and shot fakes that hard, it's difficult to do. Much easier said than done. That's coach's speak right there. Like, just stay down. Okay, coach, gotcha.
Even the players that know it, they can be telling themselves, do not go for the shot fake. It's still, the temptation can be overwhelming.
100%. And Jackson, you know, he was at Corpus with Coach Lutz, and, you know, he's played in a lot of games. He knows what he's doing, especially in these late half situations.
Oh, he couldn't get it to go. But we do have a ball game here. Only a 12-point difference. Western Kentucky did a lot right in that first half.
Yeah, they did. They got off to such a quick start. And let's give Jackson State some credit. We said 7 minutes ago they need to get settled, stay in it, give themselves a chance, and I think they've done that.
40-28 at the half. Toppers lead. Almost time for the second half, but it is perfectly timed for a look back on what the first half looked like. And we talked about the 3-pointers, Dean, and they were quite aplenty, as you're about to see.
Yeah, we're going to see a replays here. I think that might have been the first one of the game. Great job by Marshall. Shot fake, get his feet set. A lot of guys don't get. And then the big fella, when you got your 4s and your 5s, in particular your 5 can step out and shoot like Faye. Big weapon.
Marshall hit a couple, and he's not a great 3-point shooter, at least not on the year. He was 2 of 15 entering tonight. He knocked down a pair. Edlin got going from one side. There's Bayless from straight away. It was just an impressive 3-point shooting performance by a team that spreads the ball really well.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, everyone we've seen here, they've all been off the pass, and 3-pointers off the pass are a lot higher percentage shot than any off the dribble, unless you happen to be one of those few guys in the NBA making about $50 million a year. But good loose ball and put back.
So Western Kentucky was up by 17 at one point, and then Jackson State, they worked their way back into it, worked it inside, worked it outside.
Another catch and shoot 3 for them too. Here's another one, and that's how they started out 0 for 5 as we mentioned. Then they made 5 of their next 7, which has helped them stay within at least some striking distance if they can get a little push here in the first 4 minutes and see how Western Kentucky reacts.
What do you want to see the Tigers do here to begin the second half?
Number one is not turn the ball over. They can't repeat another 12 turnover half and stay in the game. So they've got to protect the ball, and then they need to get those catch and shoot 3s like we just talked about.
And then flip it around for WKU. What do you want to see out of the Hilltoppers?
I think the main thing for them is, if I'm Coach Bologna, I'm saying, guys, we have this lead. We had it to 17. We got to keep doing what we do, which is we press the pace on every single possession. So I think for him, it's really more about don't stray away from what we do because we feel like we have a lead. Don't play the scoreboard. Play Western Kentucky basketball.
Now the shots didn't seem to fall at the same pace. The deflections weren't as voluminous as the half wore on, but you can imagine if Western Kentucky duplicates that, they're going to cruise here in the second half.
Yeah, it's going to be a big part of this game coming down the stretch. But first 4 minutes for Coach Williams and his squad really important, and obviously I think we're gonna, if I had to guess, Coach Malone is telling him, get this thing out and run, and let's put this thing to bed early.
Different lineup for Jackson State than who started the game. Reyna on the floor, as is Hoover. Hoover played great, he had 10 points. That was a game high. Backdoor to Hoover, lost the ball and was fouled by Marshall. His first.
Great job of rallying to the ball and trapping the box on that backdoor play. That's a well-disciplined defensive maneuver right there.
Mansell. They could really use him getting going. How about the fade? Open and good. First points of the contest.
I'm not going to tell you who that reminds me of because Coach Lutz, so I'm glad he's listening because he coached here last year, but he was busting my chops via text at halftime about you getting me for name dropping.
Well, at least you name dropped the best. Tipped in by McHenry.
It's all in good fun. Really good finish by McHenry. He's made 3 of those floaters now.
He's beginning to heat up too. He was very quiet offensively. Missed quite a few shots early, but now he's picking up the pace. Hoover looking for help. Outside Grant's range, they work it around. Reyna might already be open.
It's just hard to get the ball. That might be their 3rd shot clock violation.
What defense there and discipline by Jackson.
That was really good where it's coming down the end of the clock. And obviously you mentioned it. That's a guy who's played in a lot of big games. He's got discipline. He's won a lot of games.
There was Hank Plona, he was raved about him just defensively.
Yeah,
oh, what a rebound by Bayless. The selfless pass and the accurate shot.
Another feet set 3. I'm telling you, they add up. But I just want to tell you, like, it's just so hard to get the ball in the paint via the dribble. Against Western Kentucky, they do such a good job on the ball.
3-ball corner pocket, rims out. Marshall the rebound. Marshall does all the little things for this Western Kentucky team.
Sure does. Now here's a dangerous thing. This is, when you have a 4 who can bring the ball up the floor and initiate offense, it feels totally different for the defense than the 1 or the 2 bringing the ball up the floor.
Yeah, that's just normal. Reyna, the pass a little off target so he couldn't catch and shoot it. McMillan gets a much tougher defensive assignment, but draws the foul on a very surprised Jalen Jackson.
Yeah, I think they got him because he didn't put his hands up. He's gonna, see how he stuck his hand in there. You gotta what I call frame your face or throw your hands back behind your ears, and then you don't get that. He stuck his hand in there trying to get in the cookie jar a little bit.
McMillan, a good free throw shooter, entered today. Well, I guess now he's 7 of 8. We can add it up. So that's an actual thing they teach. Get the hands back.
Yeah. Put your hands behind your head, the ears. People have different terminology. I've used a couple different ones. Throw your hands back or frame your face. Like you're gonna
frame your face.
You got to use a visual that has some tactileness to it, right?
That's true. That rimmed out. The frame was too strong. After that pair of free throws, opportunity here for the Tigers to show their teeth. Hoover was open in the corner, drives it in, has a good look, and knocks it down. He's got a dozen.
Good basketball, and a lot of that little thing that started when Menzel just quickly swinging it to the other side of the floor. And this is what I talked about. They scored, and so that's what you call an answer back. When the other team scores a field goal, you answer back right away. And I mention this all the time, like that when guys are pointing and celebrate, hey, good pass, good this and that, like take advantage of them while they're in their celebratory mode.
I thought he picked the ball up. But Lander just took off. Nobody was looking at him. Off the screen, McMillan, aggressive with the left, blocked away by Farr. Lander underneath Bayless. And a foul called.
That was a heck of a block and then run the floor by Fay. Boy, he's a good-looking player.
You know, Jackson State, they really haven't committed that many fouls here. That's just, overall, that's their 6th over the game.
And again, that's part of, I'm sure without having talked to Coach Williams about it, but when you play the type of defense they do, which is kind of contain you, make you play over the top, you tend not to foul. It's the teams who get out. It's actually a pretty impressive thing by Western Kentucky for how aggressive they've been this early in the season. They don't foul a lot.
No, they don't. They also don't commit many turnovers.
No.
For how fast they go.
No, that's it. Well coached.
It's 9 points now for Babacar Fa.
Coach Polona in junior college has some like ridiculous, like 86% of his games he won.
His most recent head coaching gig, which was a couple years ago at Indian Hills, he went to the Final Four.
Yeah, that Indian Hills has a great tradition of junior college basketball, and obviously he picked up that's the second time we've seen McMillan, I think, take that big hop to get an advantage. Good finish.
It's like he jumps off a trampoline. He's got 9 points, but Indian Hills out in Iowa. Lander from Indiana knocks it in. That's 8 for Christian Lander.
Even though his three-point percentage is probably not what it's going to been thus far, what it'll end up being, and water finds its level. When I've seen the games, even the ones he misses rattle in and out.
That rattles off the back of the rim, the rebound. Lander, he has been either hot or cold this year, and today he's hot, and there he draws a foul on Mansell. It's his second.
Relentless attack. You see that open elbow, and you just drive that seam, and if you get there, great. If somebody helps, you just get off of it.
And that'll rub some icy hot on that one, or just ice in general. Western Kentucky looking good here to begin the second. Hot start to the second half by Western Kentucky. They're shooting 50% from the field. They made both their three-pointers, and Christian Lander has 5 of his 8.
Yeah, pushing the pace, what we talked about. Coach Pullen probably wanted to do, and the guy who's been a big part of that is Lander. He's gotten the ball end to end quickly multiple times.
And he also drew a foul right before going to commercial, so he has a chance to earn a couple here at the line. You know, connection with Western Kentucky. Dad played football here. A free throw out. He left early from high school to go to Indiana. Didn't work out great, but he's grown here.
He reclassified. I did not realize that. Hey, nowadays lots of people transfer, and even in the old days, sometimes your first stop isn't the right stop, and then you get a place that you're comfortable with and you can excel, and looks like he's going to do that here with the Hilltoppers.
We've been in the starting lineup at times, part of the rotation for sure. McMillan misses the 3. Strong rebound by Marshall. McHenry, Bayless, Lander. The ball never touched the ground until now.
There's, poking at the ball. They are relentless.
McMillan, a freshman, very accomplished in the state of Mississippi, where he and most of the roster are from. McHenry. 3 on the way. Missed it off the mark. Mitchell the rebound.
A rear 3 off the dribble.
Mitchell, an actual native of Jackson, Mississippi, where you won't believe this. That's where Jackson State's found. Shocker. 3-ball corner pocket, a little off. Rebound tipped away by Hoover. McHenry racing up the floor, checks back for Lander. The trailing 3 doesn't happen, but a slick pass inside gets 2.
Yeah, Lander passed up the 3, got an early attacking through the elbow. It's the best angle attack in transition, and gets his partner a layup.
McMillan slapped on the wrist.
it's just so hard to get the ball anywhere near the paint, especially if you don't play off the catch against Western Kentucky. If you catch it and hold it, or you catch it and dribble, you've greatly reduced your chances of getting that ball in the paint off the dribble at that point.
A couple starters heading to the bench. Edlin, who had a heck of a first half, a career high, 8 points. And Colombe, who's been a frequent starter. And there's a foul called. Very foul-happy possession for Western Kentucky.
Yeah, once again, kind of reaching in a little bit on this. We'll probably see it here. Yep. Not much, but he got his hand on his belly button.
You can't do that. I guess you can. He just did, but you shouldn't.
Well, you can do a lot of things, but you might get called for it.
Oh, an errant pass. That's something you shouldn't do. Colombe, 2 men, lost the ball. Stays with Western Kentucky. Here comes Keita. 6'11" from Mali.
Good job by Jackson running that down and getting it back to McMillan, so you can't just give up a layup in transition.
What a shot fake. Thetford couldn't finish it off. Now here's Hoover. Oh, McMillan wants this all day long. Dumps it down low, and it's off of Jackson State.
When you drive against, we'll see it here, when you drive against them, look at all the bodies rallying to the ball. You have to spray the ball out to the perimeter. There's no interior passes against Western Kentucky.
Is it just defensive placement or the hands or
well,
all of it?
It's both. They got size, they rally, you know, they rally to the ball, and they basically say, hey, you might kick it out or get something, but you're not going to throw it anywhere near the rim and get layups on us.
Thetford. They're wanting to get into Keita, but the defense closed in too much. They're trying again, and now they do. Keita lost the ball. And a whistle, and that's on Blaze Keita, his second.
Yeah, this often happens. The guy gets the ball deflected, and then he tries to go run it down, and you get kind of a consequential foul from making up for the deflection.
Oh, man. That's rough.
Yeah, those are the kinds of things, like you can see Coach Williams over there kind of leaning against, doing his best George Karl impersonation.
And a 3, no, an offensive foul.
So this is interesting. I don't know if we'll be able to see a replay, because he made this shot the other night going to the right baseline, Thetford did, and they're probably going to call him for kicking his foot out, but when you're going it this way, it's almost hard not to kick your foot out just by the nature of the play. So I get it that technically that's the rule, but when you're going in that direction, that's a really hard. He made that exact same shot down at the other end of the floor the other night against Lipscomb on the same play.
3 ball from the left top is a little short. Keita the rebound. The referees in red and the bleachers are not happy with the ones in the black and white stripes. Thetford, this time, pure.
Tell you what, man, this guy, when he lets it go, it looks good. And I was out here, I watched his whole pregame warm-up. He had several stretches where he was making 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row. This guy's going to be a really, really good player.
Just a freshman. Williams, Delisle Williams not able to knock it down. From the corner, Hoover, yeah, he hits it, rattling it home. 15 for Tamarian Hoover.
Good sequence there for Jackson State. They get a feet set three. They don't make it. It was a good shot.
At this time, we ask for all.
We're going to step away for the under 12. Western Kentucky, though, very close to that 20-point lead. Hilltoppers growing lead, even though a three was just hit. What's working so well for Western Kentucky this half?
Well, they're just doing what they do. They're going to press the pace. They're in threes now. You know, Thetford's, even though he got called for an offensive foul on one, he comes right back and makes one on the next possession. I mean, they're 11 for 23 from the three-point line. I don't care who you're playing. You're going to be potent when that happens.
They're 3 of 5 from three here in the second half. 60% is a good mark.
That'll get it done on a lot of nights, my friend.
Oh, nice ball movement. Keita just waiting for it.
Good patience against the press. Little stagger into a double drag action.
From the corner, no sir. Keita the bobbled rebound. That's his 6th rebound. Extra pass to Thetford. Edlin. Keita, the big fella. Got another.
Great duck in right there. As soon as that ball came to the top of the floor, Keita put his top leg right over the top of him, sealed the defender. Sort of helpless at that point. There's really not much you can do, especially with a man his size.
Here's McMillan tangled up with Edlund again. Now off the switch. McMillan has the speed advantage and got Keita in the air and finished him off.
Good patience by McMillan there. Shot fake, get the big fella to leave his feet, and then on the way back down, get the shot over him versus just try to throw it up over him early, which number one, you're going to rush a shot, and the chances of it getting at least deflected are good.
The screen from Keita. Edlin, no. Rebound wiped away by Tamarian Hoover, native of Yazoo City, down in Mississippi. McMillan. Around the bend they go. Conneville, they're not going to take that. They thought it was a flop in the bucket.
I think it was a good no call. Sometimes I get nervous when officials see that, and especially a guy that big on a smaller guy, but I think it was legit, actually.
There's a big jersey pull underneath.
Yeah, I saw 15-yard, 5-yard penalty for holding in football, right?
Indeed. Yeah, Mitchell, you're not going to be able to get away with that one in the NFL.
Shows you what a rules expert I am when it comes to football.
Here's McMillan. Hoover. And what a game he's had. He's got 15 points. McMillan also in double figures with 11, adds 2 more.
2 times in a row right there. McMillan has people around him. He doesn't rush. He takes his time. Those are the things when I see them play, I go, when they get to the SWAC and they've been through these other battles they've had to do, they're going to be just fine.
Right now they're down 62-45 here on a night, Wednesday night. Coming back to live action. Again, Western Kentucky looking very strong at home, looking for the 3rd consecutive win.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see. Now, in Jackson State, I'm going to say this with a little bit of caution here, Jonathan, is Jackson State's done a good job. I mean, they're hanging around. McMillan's made a couple really patient plays here. But, you know, now we're going to see, like, is Coach Plona going to start, if they're able to push the lead out a little bit, is he going to, you know, cycle some guys in there who haven't gotten as much time?
Yeah, we've seen some nice offensive performances. Dorian McMillan to Marion Hoover for Jackson State as Western Kentucky finds Don McHenry.
You got to be careful with that young fella, because, like I said, he can make threes. He's quick twitch. He can get downhill, and what's really interesting about him, I noticed this way back in their first game, for all the offensive talent he has, he's really patient with letting it come to him.
Oh, speaking of which, it came to him. Off the floor, Marshall. all the way, and then McHenry again. Oh, McHenry.
They end up getting the payoff, but that was an impressive block by Mitchell with a guy coming downhill like that at you that fast in transition.
I mean, just Donnie on the spot right there, multiple times. You just knew he was going to make a big impact on this game, and even though his team's up big, he was going to have some points in bunches. Almost a steal. Mitchell misses the three from the top, and the Irishman gets the rebound. Odiayi. No look pass. McHenry. McHenry. No, this time. That would have been too good.
Yeah, that's one of those. My man from Coach Semesco, who was at Florida Gulf Coast Women, just got the Atlanta Dream job. He said, never take a. He always tells his players, and they lead the country in threes. It can never be a secondary thought. Shoot it or don't shoot it.
Mitchell shot that one, gets his first 2 points of the night. McHenry floats it, pops it, couldn't get the bounce. That was some outdoor rims on that bucket.
Yeah. Players, they love those soft rims. Although when guys would say, geez, the rim is, I mean, you're not supposed to hit the rim. Shoot the ball, make it go through without hitting the rim. You don't have to worry about the rim's tight or soft.
That might be one of those coaching things that's a little bit easier to say than, like, why are you not hitting, just don't hit it. McHenry. That one a little long, hit the back of the rim. That's not where you want it to go. Bayless. Got options.
Although I will tell you this, it's better to hit the back because you know who the other team's best defender is every night?
Who?
The front of the rim.
Ah, yes.
Those shots don't go in, so if you're going to miss long.
Off the kick from Bayless, a couple subs will saunter in, and we're going to step away again. Western Kentucky up 20. And looking good. Prime for win number 3. 6:29 to go. Dean Cooper, how do you approach this final stretch?
Yeah, I think both coaches, the message, it's coming from different ends of the spectrum. Obviously, one team's up 20, one team's down 20. But I think in these situations, both coaches are saying, whatever it is that they do that they feel like is important or their style of play, keep doing that. Let's not get outside of ourselves. Let's not contaminate our habits, you know, and however it turns out, it turns out. But don't do things that aren't us.
Reyna. Mitchell. Almost a steal by McHenry. Mitchell's able to hold him up. Reyna. Step back, Trey. Could not get that to go. Marshall the rebound. Here's McHenry. He's started to heat up a little bit, but missed his last 2. Working some nice ball movement off the dribble. McHenry. Another 3 from Fa. That rimmed out.
Well, I tell you, when the big fella lets it go, it looks pretty good, doesn't it?
It does. He's 1 for 3 tonight. There's a foul.
I think it's awesome that Coach Plona is open-minded in playing today's game and doing what everybody does now, which is let your big shoot, which is a big weapon, tremendous weapon, and you know, if it's a good shot, go ahead and shoot that thing and let him develop it. And I can tell by watching him shoot, he's going to be a legit three-point threat over time.
A one-on-one opportunity that is no good. There's a few schools that do that. You let the whole team down chant. That's what the student section of the band just said. Which, you know, it's a pointed criticism. Lander. Good! Didn't hit the rim at all.
There you go. He doesn't have to worry about whether it's a soft rim, tight rim, doesn't matter. And like I mentioned, he's probably not shooting, he's not shooting the percentage he wants this year, but he's got one of those great left-handed strokes. You know, when that ball comes out, it looks good.
Mitchell on the attack. And good, and the foul, and that's the 4th on Jalen Jackson.
The foul is on the Hilltoppers, number 3, Jalen
All right, I've got an observation that I want to run by you. We see Mo Williams there. Have you noticed the amount of players that have what are like bowling alley colored shoes?
I have not.
There's
But
a little bit
I'm gonna take a look on both teams. Or,
on both teams.
Yeah.
There's a lot of yellow. There's a lot of pink. There's some teal. Like it's the thing over the last couple of years.
Yeah, there's definitely been a trend to be colorful, express yourself. I think it's cool, you know, better than the old. I wouldn't have thought of them as bowling alley shoes, but
It's just if you went to a bowling alley and you got a pair of shoes, it would look like what Dorian McMillan's wearing right now.
well, actually, I do go to the bowl, so my shoes don't look like that. And I own my own shoes. I'm a little old school, but now that you say it,
You're not going to be able to unsee it now.
No, I'm not going to be able to unsee it.
Lander's got 15. I'm telling you, when he's on, he's on. And almost got a steal there off the tip of Fa.
And the next time I go bowling, I'm going to be much more aware of who's wearing what on lane 11.
Into the game, Jalen Dorsey for the first time this year. Colin Bay checking back in. McMillan.
And as we're talking about,
Bounded out. Mitchell inside, gets the roll.
good job. Mitchell's put together a good little stretch here in the second half.
All 9 of his points have come here in the second.
I love it when teams are, you know, look, Jackson State's had a tough go of it with these bye games, road games, and there's not been any give in. Guys keep playing the right way. We'll get them up off the floor there. But they keep playing the right way. They're doing the things they need to do. No one's losing their mind, and it's a good thing to see. It really says a lot about Coach Williams' coaching.
75-54. The under 4 timeout. Another strong game for Babacar Fa, battling inside. Got 9 points, 5 boards. Going to work.
I think we're going to see what happened here on this last play as he gets out of this pick and roll. Oh, yeah, little. Back to our, I think they called that clipping in football, where you come in at that angle or blindside block. Not malicious, it just happens. The guy's going in for a rebound and Babacar took a little spill.
Keita trying to create some space and swatted away by Grant. Colin Bay. There's Thedford. Enoch Colin Bay. The floater's good. A little off on his scoring tonight, but that's the first 2 points.
Yeah, he hasn't had many opportunities. Other guys been getting the opportunities, but he showed a good patience there. Gets to the little floater area from about 6-8 feet.
That's just how it goes sometimes. Mitchell takes on 2 guys, swatted away by Thedford, who picks it up. He's got chances, and he threw it into the bleachers.
Great job. I'm going to stay away from what happened on that, and I'm going to talk about Keita coming over here and trapping the box with his hands up, which caused the turnover. I'm telling you, I've been really impressed with, and Coach Williams seems well coached as well, but Coach Plona seems like their defensive assignment, going from assignment to assignment, they're well coached, and you can see why the guy won 80-some% of his games.
Hoover made 3 from the top. He has 18. That's a new career high. You want to get, or a new season high. You want to guess what his previous high was from this year?
Nope.
0. It was 0.
So his first bucket was his high. I did not know that. I had to look that
so
up.
he's been beyond. He blew it away today. And Keita traveled.
Yeah, you're not going to – that's 2 big bodies right there, and you're not going to be getting around Grant very easily on that block. And by the way, let's point out, speaking of Grant, Hoover got that 3 because he made a really good kick out and didn't try to force the hook shot when he felt some other bodies around him, which gets his teammate the 3. So good unselfish play by him. I like that kid.
Here's McMillan. Mitchell is going to be really important for them as the season goes on. We saw him heat up here in the second half, but you're looking for a big scoring threat. That's him, and he battles inside for the rebound that's taken by Bayless. Jackson State needing to replace 90% of their offense from a year ago, some by graduation. There's Ken Evans Jr., their leading scorer. He's playing at Florida Atlantic this season, getting his 5th year. Bayless, the right-handed floater, hit every part of the rim before falling in. Grant swats it away from Dorsey, and then Dorsey steals it back.
Yeah, Dorsey gets the wolf steal to come from
there. You go.
Kapaya. Stedford gets a dunk, shows off his athleticism. I'm telling you, we haven't seen a lot of it tonight because it hasn't come up, but that dude is really athletic. I mean, he's had some games where he's rebounding the ball in traffic at the top of the block.
McMillan, a pure three-pointer. 16th point. Substitution timeout for Tyler Olden to come in. The senior from Scottsdale, a lifer here at Western Kentucky.
Coach Williams is going to have some really good things to build off from the second half, in particular with McMillan and Hoover, because they played really, really well in the second half. And you know, you got to show the good and the bad after wins and losses and make sure you push your team forward and you have growth. But those two guys have played really well in the second half, so we get a take foul so we can get a substitution.
Also in the game, David McDaniel making his first appearance of the season for Jackson State, number 30 in blue.
1 minute remaining in the ball game.
Do you think Dorsey's going to feel the pressure to go get bowling-colored shoes now that you've made mention of that, and he's going with the old school black?
That's going to be tough. Will he cave to peer pressure or not? That's going to be the ultimate question. Odiaye, Bayless almost floated there long enough. Odiaye got the rebound. It's on the floor. McDaniel picks it up. Here's Samuel. Reyna. Hooks around underneath and no good.
Nifty little move by Reyna. Spun off of him, shot fake, got his balance, and then allowed him to get a foul and get to the free throw line.
Reyna's been to the line before, and he was 2 for 2. He's 3 for 3. Reyna looks like he'd be a good just guard depth for this team.
Yep. Good body, plays with good pace, good patience. And I'm just going to mention again, like, you know, I saw Coach Williams, like I said, I never got a chance to coach him in the NBA, but I coached against him. I always had a lot of admiration for him. But the way his team has just continued to fight, down 15 or 20 most of the game, no one got selfish. They kept playing the right way. And so credit those guys, and I'll be rooting for them to, when their league time comes around, to do well in the SWAC, because they're obviously coached well and by a class guy. And the same with Coach Polona, by the way.
It's an 0-5 start for Jackson State, but Western Kentucky wins their 3rd in a row, 79-62 over Jackson State. The Hilltoppers improved to 3-1 at home, and it looks like they're beginning to hit their groove.
They sure are. You know, they had that tough loss at Grand Canyon. Probably, you know, the first game of the year at home against Wichita State, and that tough loss at Grand Canyon. But they're hitting their groove now. You hit it right on the head.
Interesting for both teams, their next opponent is Kentucky. Western Kentucky plays them on Tuesday, November 26th, and on Friday, this Friday, Jackson State will play them as Jackson State goes on a little bluegrass tour. But you feel Jackson State, you know, they're going to take their lumps early, but that's going to make them very strong for their conference.
Yeah, that's typical for these size of schools, these mid-major to low major Division I's, and you know, you got to take your lumps early, but what it does is it grizzles you a little bit. When you get back to your own, competition, feels a lot better.
We're fist bumping everybody walking by. For Western Kentucky, what do you want to see out of them going down the road?
Well, I think the main thing with them is they just got to keep doing what they do. I've seen growth in the 3 games that I've watched them, putting pace on people, and you know, Coach Polona's got a lot of parts, and he's really done a good job of using it to his advantage.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Our entire crew did a phenomenal job, and it's been a pleasure. Alongside Dean Cooper, I'm Jonathan Mathis. We're going to bid you adieu from Bowling Green, Kentucky, where Western Kentucky came back home. They defended their home court against Jackson State to be the victors, 79-62. They'll be back here against Marshall on the final day of November on Saturday, and they're going to be up for another battle then. Western Kentucky takes it at home.